Hello everyone, and welcome back to Travel with Brian. On today's video, I decided to create a follow-up to my most recent video, which ranked the top 10 most dangerous states for road travel. For this video, we'll be reviewing the opposite, which is the safest states for road travel. Every day, millions of Americans travel by road, whether it is for their daily commute, vacation, delivering goods, or any other purpose. Nearly every American regularly relies on road travel. While road travel is generally very safe, there is still always an inherent risk of serious injury or death whenever you travel by road, either as a driver or a passenger. Just like all categories, every state is different when it comes to road travel. While there is no solid reason why some states are safer or more dangerous, safer states tend to have at least one of the following: a less dense population, well-kept roads, strict enforcement of driving laws, or a culture of safer drivers. While the upcoming states do not fit every one of these characteristics, most of them tend to have at least one of them. On today's video, we'll be ranking the top 10 safest states for road travel. As I did in the previous video, I'll be solely basing this ranking on the road fatality rate according to the 2021 records. While this video will still point out the negative statistics related to road deaths, the figures should still show the safety of these states when you compare them to the more dangerous states. As always, if you have any thoughts or opinions about the material covered in this video, please let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get to the countdown. Starting off at number 10, we have the state of Wyoming. In 2021, Wyoming had 102 fatal crashes, which resulted in the loss of 110 lives. With a population of 579,483, this resulted in a rate of 19 deaths per 100,000 residents. While this number seems significantly high, it is skewed by the fact that Wyoming has the lowest population of any state in the US. Of these deaths, 35% resulted from the use of alcohol, 41% resulted from speeding, and 61% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Wyoming has a rate of 0.99 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. Coming in at number 9, we have the state of Maryland. In 2021, Maryland had 522 fatal crashes, resulting in the loss of 561 lives. With a population of 6,174,610, this resulted in a rate of 9.1 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, just under 35% resulted from the use of alcohol, 30% resulted from speeding, and 44% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Maryland has a rate of 0.99 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. At number 8, we have the state of Utah. In 2021, Utah had 293 fatal crashes, resulting in the loss of 328 lives. With a population of 3,339,113, this resulted in a rate of 9.8 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, 24% resulted from the use of alcohol, 33% resulted from speeding, and 36% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Utah has a rate of 0.98 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. At number 7, we have the state of Wisconsin. In 2021, Wisconsin had 572 fatal crashes, which resulted in the loss of 620 lives. With a population of 5,880,101, this resulted in a rate of 10.9 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, 32% resulted from the use of alcohol, 34% resulted from speeding, and 48% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Wisconsin has a rate of just over 0.95 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. At number 6, we have the state of New Jersey. In 2021, New Jersey had 669 fatal crashes, which resulted in the loss of 699 lives. With a population of 9,267,961, this resulted in a rate of 7.5 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, 25% resulted from the use of alcohol, 25% resulted from speeding, and 47% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, New Jersey has a rate of just under 0.95 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. Coming in at number 5, we have the state of Hawaii. In 2021, Hawaii had 94 fatal crashes, which resulted in the loss of 94 lives. With a population of 1,447,154, this resulted in a rate of 6.5 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, just under 30% resulted from the use of alcohol, 48% resulted from speeding, and 63% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Hawaii has a rate of 0.94 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. At number 4, we have the state of New Hampshire. In 2021, New Hampshire had 106 fatal crashes, which resulted in the loss of 118 lives. With a population of 1,387,505, this resulted in a rate of 8.5 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, 38% resulted from the use of alcohol, 34% resulted from speeding, and 62% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, New Hampshire has a rate of just under 0.9 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. Next up, at number 3, we have the state of Minnesota. In 2021, Minnesota had 451 fatal crashes, which resulted in the loss of 488 lives. With a population of 5,711,471, this resulted in a rate of 8.5 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, just under 27% resulted from the use of alcohol, 34% resulted from speeding, and 31% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Minnesota has a rate of 0.85 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. At number 2, we have the state of Rhode Island. I'd have to say that this surprised me, since Rhode Island is among the top 5 most densely populated states. My assumption is that there is not much distance traveled by road throughout Rhode Island due to its small size, which therefore correlates to a lower chance of getting in a serious accident. In 2021, Rhode Island had 61 fatal crashes, which resulted in the loss of 63 lives. With a population of 1,096,985, this resulted in a rate of 5.7 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, 37% resulted from the use of alcohol, 32% resulted from speeding, and 44% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Rhode Island has a rate of 0.84 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. Before I get to number 1, I would be remiss if I didn't give a proper message about road safety. While I am creating this video to educate you about different states, I hope that I am also able to spread the message that you will be much safer on the road if you wear a seatbelt, and that drinking and driving are never a good combination. While I am sure that my viewers are all aware of this information, I hope that this will provide an additional lesson about ways to minimize your risk of serious injury or death on the road. Finally, at number 1, we have the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This was incredibly surprising to me for many reasons. Primarily, Massachusetts has a high population density, which is expected to correlate to more accidents on overly crowded roads. In addition, I have long believed that Massachusetts has a reputation for a more aggressive style of driving, which could also result in additional accidents. I have never been to Massachusetts, so I am unable to verify if this is a true reputation. I am merely basing this off of information that I've heard from various sources. However, the statistics support the fact that Massachusetts is the safest state for road travel. In 2021, there were 397 fatal car accidents, which resulted in the loss of 417 lives. With a population of 6,989,690, this resulted in a rate of 6 deaths per 100,000 residents. Of these deaths, 36% resulted from the use of alcohol, 27% resulted from speeding, and 45% were reported to have not been wearing a seatbelt. Overall, Massachusetts has a rate of 0.71 deaths per 100 million road miles traveled. Before I go, I just wanted to say thank you very much to each and every one of you for watching my video today. I hope that I was able to entertain and educate you, and I hope that you will join me again. Until next time, this has been Travel with Brian.